Hello friends, how's it going? It's me, Betty Jean. It's time for another collection and declutter video. Today I'm working on my Complexion products, my primers, foundation, concealer, setting powder, and setting sprays. I don't have that many things in front of me, but I also do want to condense this a bit because I feel like I do have an excessive amount of certain things. So we're going to tackle this. Let's get these disclaimers out of the way. Do not ask me to send you anything because I'm weird about giving used makeup to people I don't know personally. I'm gonna give dibs to my best friends. Second, don't get mad if I declutter your favorite thing. We just all have different opinions, preferences, so on and so forth. And third, do not feel pressured to declutter your collection if that's not what's right for you. It's just what I need in my life. It's been feeling really good to get rid of my collection of things that I'm not using. So yeah, let's just hop on into this. I don't want to ramble too long. I don't think this video will be too long, but who knows? I might get on a tangent. Let's get on with it. Okay, so I have 45 products total. I have 4 setting sprays, 4 powders, kind of 5, 7 concealers, 11 foundations, and 19 primers. There is no reason why I need that many primers. That's ridiculous. I think that's what's gonna get decluttered the most. I have a few things that haven't even been opened. It's a mess. So my goal is to condense this number by a lot. I would like to have under 30 total for all of these products. So let's hop into it. We're just going to start with primers and work our way through the routine. All right, first things first, let's go over my number one favorite. You guys already knew this would be in here. The Milk Hydro Grip Primer is forever my favorite. It's just so lovely. I've been wearing this literally every day since I got sent it from Milk Makeup in October. I can't get enough of it. It makes literally all of my foundations look so good. I wanted to try this, but I just didn't want to buy it. I wasn't sure if it would really work for me. Before this one, I wasn't sure how much primer really made a difference. This one makes a difference. My makeup really sticks to it. It hydrates my face while also leaving it kind of tacky, so makeup can really adhere to it. It lasts so long. I feel like I don't get like weird spots where it wears off or things like that. I don't know. This primer is my favorite thing ever. I will 100% repurchase it when it's gone. It's only about almost halfway gone now, so I'll probably get a good half a year out of this. I think this is the small size too. I don't even know if this is the big size. I'm not sure, but regardless, I plan on repurchasing it when it's gone. It's my favorite thing ever. This next one is one that I think one of you sent me in like a gift box. It's the e.l.f. Poreless Face Primer. I haven't had a chance to use it just because I've really been on my Milk Hydro kick. I think I used this once or twice. I honestly can't remember how I felt about it. I can't remember. I don't think I hated it because I feel like I would have remembered that. But I don't know if it did something so great for me that I feel the need to keep it. I think I'm going to try to see if one of my friends would prefer it. If you're the one who sent this to me, I'm still so grateful and appreciative that I got to try it. It's just not my number one favorite. I don't know if anything can beat the Milk Hydro Grip anymore. Next is this No Problem from Touch in Soul. I got this in BoxyCharm and I actually don't think I've used it yet. I know I used a sample of this a long time ago, but I don't think I've used this in BoxyCharm yet. And I've had this for like half a year now. However, I do remember liking it. I think I might keep it for if and when the Milk Hydro Grip runs out and I want something else. I think I might hold on to it for now, but only because I remember liking it and I want to try it again. These next two are throwbacks. I went through so many of these. I have the Becca Backlight Priming Filter and the First Light Priming Filter. This one is almost gone. It actually looks like it is gone. This needs to be in my empties. I don't know why it's still here. But both of these are just very glowy primers. They don't really do so much with making my makeup stick to my face, but it does give a lot of luminosity. It makes my foundation look super glowy, which I do like because I have more normal to dry skin and I like a dewy look. These were great. I've gone through probably 3 or 4 of these each. I loved these with my whole heart. I'm gonna go ahead and put this in my empties bin because I don't know why this is still out here. And I'm gonna hang on to the First Light and just use it up. I don't know if I would repurchase either of these at this point because I don't feel like I need that anymore. I feel like I can get a pretty good dewy glow without these, but I am gonna use it up just for the sake of using it. Next are 2 that I don't even think I've opened yet. Let me check. Oh, this one has been opened. This is the Pot Beauty Zero Shine Prime. This is a mattifying primer. I don't know why I even tried it. I probably would have been good to just pass this one along. This one got sent to me in PR from Pot Beauty. I'm gonna see if one of my oily friends wants this mattifying primer. Next from Kaleido Cosmetics, also sent to me. I actually got sent this recently. This is the Dream Lust Pore Defining Dewy Primer. How, on one hand, I do want to try this just because I'm curious. I also know, seeing how many primers I have, that I do not need this, so I think I'm going to give this away to one of you guys whenever I decide to do a giveaway. So this will go in that bin. This next one is the e.l.f. Glowy Lotion. I really, really liked this for quite a long time. However, I don't know if I really feel that need to hold on to it. Speaking of which, I think I'm gonna put the No Problem Primer in the giveaway bin as well. I don't really need it. The e.l.f. Glowy Lotion I really, really liked. I just don't know how much I'm gonna use it again. I'm gonna put this in my maybe pile. Why am I feeling so torn about these? Next is the OMFG Cosmetics Face Primer. This didn't really do much for me. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. Very neutral. I'm gonna try to give this to a friend. Next is the Pixi On The Glow Multi-Use Moisture Stick. This is okay. It added some moisture to my face. It made it a little bit tacky, but it wasn't anything so special that I feel the need to use it. So I think I'm gonna try to give this one to a friend as well. Actually, I might toss this one because it was in direct contact with my face and that's kind of gross. I'm gonna get rid of this one completely. Next is the Colourpop Pretty Fresh Hydrating Hyaluronic Acid Primer. I really like this. It has a very similar feeling to the Milk Hydro Grip, except not quite as tacky, but it does have that hydrating and slightly tacky feeling. I've only used this once so far very recently because they sent it to me, and I really liked it. I could see myself using this for a while after I run out of the Milk Hydro Grip, so I'm gonna hang on to this one. And I think I'm gonna go ahead and try to give one of my friends the e.l.f. Glowy Lotion, just because this next one from e.l.f. I know that I would like to keep. This is the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. This is supposed to be a dupe for the Tatcha Silk Canvas, is that what it's called? I've never tried that one. That is out of my price range, but this one is fantastic. This is the primer I was head over heels for before I discovered the Milk Hydro Grip. This one really smooths my skin. I feel like my makeup lays beautifully on it. I will 100% dip back into this when I'm not using the Milk Hydro Grip. I might even take a break from the Milk Hydro Grip now that I'm talking out loud about it. Give this one a chance to shine again because I really, really enjoyed this primer. Next are two from Milk Makeup that also got sent to me. This one is the Cooling Water Stick. I really like to use this with whatever primer I choose to on the days that my skin is feeling a little extra dry. This just gives me a little extra hydration. And this one is the Luminous Blur Primer. This one is okay. I feel like it does kind of blur my skin and leave a little bit of luminosity to it, but I don't love it so much more than any of these other favorites that I've talked about, so I think I'm going to try to give this one to a friend. I think someone else might enjoy it a little bit more than I do. Again, I don't hate it. It's just not my favorite thing in the world. This next one is the Pixi Glow Tonic Serum Exfoliating Radiance Serum. Is this even a primer? This isn't even a primer. This is supposed to go on cleansed, toned skin before moisturizer. This is a serum. This shouldn't even be in this video. I'm gonna put that in my bathroom. This next one is the Beauty Bakery Wake and Bake Oil. I love this. This is actually my second one that was gifted to me from one of my friends. I love this. I haven't used it in a long time just because I've been on other things, but I used to mix this with the Glowy Lotion and I absolutely loved it. This was a really good oil. I think I'm gonna keep it and maybe try to mix it in with some of these other primers and get some use out of it again. I have three more little guys. This is a small Becca Backlight Priming Filter. Is there even product in this? This seems very empty. There's a little bit of product in here, but I think I'm just gonna go ahead and try to give the rest of this little tube to a friend because I don't need it. Next is the Kaleido Cosmetics Canvas Glow Glow Enhancing Priming Moisturizer. I tried this, it was fine. It does make me glowy, but with the other ones that I'm keeping, I don't feel like I need this one anymore. So I'm gonna pass that one along to a friend. And finally, a Becca First Light Priming Filter. Is this full? It is unopened, so I will give that away to one of you guys. All right, we're off to a good start. I started with, what, 19 primers, and I'm keeping 6. That's great. That's so much better. I had so many unnecessary primers. That was ridiculous. Like, that's absurd. Granted, one of them wasn't even a primer. One was a serum, but anyways. All right, now we are on to foundations. I just have them kind of categorized in kind of squeezy tube looking bottles, more jar looking bottles, and stick foundation. So out of my squeezy tubes, I have 4 of them. And again, I have 11 foundations total. These are my squeezy tube ones. I don't really know if I'm gonna get rid of really any of these foundations because I really do like all of these. I just need to actually use them all. And I would really like to use up some of these throughout the year. This first one is the IT Cosmetics Your Skin But Better CC Illuminating Cream. IT Cosmetics is a weird one where they're kind of on that cusp of, are they cruelty-free, are they not? I'd already purchased this before I went totally cruelty-free, which it's been a while. So I've had this foundation sitting around for a long time, but there's only a couple more uses out of it. I am going to continue using it. I don't see myself picking it up since they are in that kind of gray area, but I do really like this CC cream. It has like kind of a medium to full coverage. It's really nice, has a nice glowy finish. I feel like it wears well. It doesn't look too unnatural on my skin. I feel like it looks pretty skin-like for what it is. And I don't know, it's nice. It has SPF as well, which is great if I ever go outside, which is never. Next is the Fenty Beauty Hydrating Foundation. This one is okay. I didn't love it when I initially got it, but now that I have the Milk Hydro Grip, I like this one a lot more. I felt like this actually looked pretty drying on my skin at first, but now that I have that primer, I feel like this looks pretty okay. 100% not something I'm going to repurchase. It might be my least favorite foundation out of these foundations I'm going to be talking about today, but it's fine. I will continue using it in conjunction with that primer and it'll be fine. Should I tell you the shades? I probably should. The It Cosmetics one is in the shade Fair and this one is in the shade, I'm not sure, 120. Next to one, this is the Milk Makeup Blur Foundation. They sent this to me and this is one of my favorite foundations of all time. It is probably my second favorite foundation ever and in this pile. This is in the shade, I don't know, Ivory? Ivory. It might be slightly too dark for me. Like I think it's one shade off, but once I get like my powders and concealer and blend it out, it's fine. But initially upon application, it might be one shade off, but that's okay. I make it work. This is advertised as a mattifying foundation or just a matte foundation. For me, on my skin, it looks more like a natural finish or like a satin finish. It doesn't look too matte on me. This is the first mattifying claiming foundation that I've ever liked. Usually they look way too dry. This one looks beautiful. It wears so well. It wears like a dream. I plan on mixing this one with a different foundation, potentially for my wedding makeup. I just absolutely adore this Blur foundation. It is so good. I can't get enough of it. And the last one is the Colourpop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Acid Tinted Moisturizer. This is a sheer to light coverage tinted moisturizer. It is not going to give you a lot of pigment. If you are looking for anything above light coverage, you would not like this. I love this, especially on days that I know I'm going to be outside for a long time, or days that I know I'm just having a really good skin day and I don't really feel like wearing something more coverage than this. This is perfect. I love the finish of it. Mine's in the shade Fair 3W. I would have preferred the neutral one. I think it was 3N or something like that, but they were sold out. Because this is so sheer, I can get away with it being a slightly different undertone than what I'm used to. I prefer a neutral undertone. But regardless, this is beautiful. I love it. I've been wearing it a lot on just, like I said, days that I'm going to be outside, which isn't often, or days that I just want to let my skin shine through. I wore this every day on the cruise. It was fantastic. And yeah, that's it for my squeezy tube ones. Let's get into the jars. This first one is the one I'm wearing today that a lot of people really seem to dislike, and I don't understand because I think it's fantastic. It's the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Hydrate Foundation. It comes in a pump like this. All of the ones I just showed you come in a pump as well, actually, even though they're in a squeezy tube. That's a lie. I think the Milk Makeup one is actually just a squeezy tube. Yeah, Milk Makeup is just a squeezy tube. All the other ones have a pump with the squeezy tube. Conceal and Hydrate. Mine is in the shade F1. I love this. I feel like it leaves such a beautiful finish on my skin. It is a little pink toned for me. It's not 100% perfect, but it's the closest they had. They don't have a pure neutral undertone, but I love the finish. I feel like it just looks very skin-like, dewy without being too dewy. It lasts pretty long on me and it's very affordable, so I'm quite a fan of this guy. Oh, this was my first favorite foundation ever. This is the Too Faced Born This Way. It's in the shade Snow. I've gone through like 2 or 3 of these in my lifetime. I still really like this foundation. It's not my #1 favorite anymore, but the days I do decide to reach for it, I'm pleasantly surprised with how much I still like it. I feel like it's a pretty solid formula. Back in the day when I first got this, I was very dry and my best friend Mackenzie was very oily, and both of us loved this foundation. So I found it very cool that 2 people with totally different skin tones found joy in this foundation. I will continue to use this. Can't promise I would ever repurchase it again, but now that I've discovered new favorites, but I will continue to use it up. This next one I might actually declutter because I feel like I'm just not reaching for it like I used to. This is the BH Cosmetics Liquid Foundation. It's the Naturally Flawless Foundation. Mine is in the shade Ivory. And while it is nice, it blends nice on my skin, it leaves a good finish, I just don't find myself reaching for it, and since I have 11 foundations total, I think it's fair if I get rid of this one. It's probably the one I'm reaching for the least, even less than this Fenty one. I feel like I'm reaching for the Fenty one more. This one's actually a tad too light for me. It's like a shade, maybe a shade and a half too light, which is very rare for me since I'm very fair. But again, I'm just not reaching for it anymore. This used to be one of my favorites. I'd actually bought a backup before I finished this one, and I already gave it away to a friend because I didn't think I was ever going to reach for it. Don't buy backups unless you're 100% sure. So yeah, I'm gonna give this one to a friend if I can find someone that matches that skin tone. Next is my #1 favorite of all time. It's the Anastasia Luminous Foundation. Mine is in the shade 130N. I adore this. I'm almost out of it. It's getting close to the bottom. I'm 100% repurchasing it because this is the one I'm for sure wearing to my wedding. I might mix it with the, where is it? I might mix it with the milk one. That or I'm gonna wear it by itself. It's just so good. This shade is perfect for me in my opinion. I love the finish. It's so dewy and luminous without being too dewy and luminous, because there is a line where it can look very oily, and I feel like this is perfect. I use it with the Milk Makeup Primer and it just lasts so beautifully on my skin. My smile lines don't go too crazy. They are a little crazy because I am aging. Very fun. I just love it. I would wear that one every single day if it wasn't so expensive and I could justify buying it like once every 4 to 6 weeks. And this last one I purchased again over, I want to say the summer whenever Ulta was having their like 28 days of beauty or sales or whatever it's called. It's the Becca Aqua Luminous Foundation. It comes in a dropper. I've repurchased this a couple times. I think the first time I bought it full price at Sephora, and then the second time I found my shade at TJ Maxx. That was a horrible sound. And now I decided to buy it when it was on sale. I think it was on sale for like 20 bucks, which is pretty cheap. Haven't dipped into it yet just because I really like this foundation when it's spring and summer, and I got it more towards the end of summer. Haven't really reached into it since. It's still in the box, but I am gonna keep it because I do love that foundation. It's more of a light, can be medium coverage, and I think it's great. It blends on my skin nice, it wears beautifully. I feel like it's very comfortable, and it's a little bit thinner of a formula, which I like in the hotter months, especially being in Florida. I cannot be wearing a lot of gunk on my skin because it does not feel good. Most of these foundations, if I didn't specify the coverage, they're mostly like a medium coverage. I don't like full coverage. I think the only one of these that's like 100% full coverage is the Too Faced Born This Way. Yeah, this one's medium to full. But all the other ones I feel like are mostly medium, can probably be built up to a full. I personally prefer a probably solid medium coverage. Light to medium is my sweet spot. 2 more foundations. I think I might have said that was it, but we have 2 more. This is the first stick one. It's the Colourpop No Filter Stick Foundation in the shade Fair 27N. This one's getting kind of close to the bottom. This is actually my second one, I believe, that I've purchased. I really like this stick foundation. It's my #1 favorite in the world. Maybe, maybe not. I'm not sure actually. We'll see when I run out if I repurchase it. As of right now, I'm undecided. Stick foundations are really easy because they're not messy. You just kind of swipe it on and blend it out. I prefer a sponge. Some people prefer a brush. I prefer a sponge for everything though. But this is a pretty solid foundation and it's cheap. And this last foundation is from Milk Makeup that they sent me as well. It's the Buff Flex Foundation Stick. The shade is called Buff, by the way. This one's really nice as well. I really like the formula of it. It's very creamy and blends out super nicely. The shade is again like a hair off, but once I have it blended out and all my other powders are on, I can get away with it. It's a pretty solid foundation. I'm a fan of it. All right, we started with 11. Now we have 10. Not too bad, not too bad. I didn't think I would really get rid of many of those because I love so many of those. However, this year I want to try to not really buy foundation because I'm set. The only one I want to buy is just repurchasing the Anastasia next time Ulta has a sale, preferably. All right, concealers. Ha! We have 7. It'll probably stay that way if I'm being honest with you because I like all of these. This first one is the Juvia's Place I Am Magic Concealer. This is in the shade 23. It blends out so creamy. It's a nice medium to full coverage in my opinion. I love how fat and chunky it is, like in comparison. It is a thick concealer as far as the packaging goes. But formula-wise, it's very creamy. It blends out so beautifully. I love it. Ooh, I lied actually. I have 8 concealers because I forgot about this one that I've kind of deemed not a concealer. Let's talk about this one. This one I hate as a concealer with all of my passion. Sorry, I was editing on my phone. This is the e.l.f. Camo Concealer. This is very full coverage, but it dries so fast. It's very hard to work with for me personally on my under eyes. I just can't get it blended out in time, and then it doesn't look good, even if I do one eye at a time. Something about it does not mesh with my skin well, so I've deemed this as my eyebrow carving out concealer. So yeah. That one's being kept, but only for that purpose, and once it's gone, it's gone. I don't really care. So we're just gonna continue saying I have 45 total since this was a serum anyways. Next concealers are 2 from Colourpop. I have 2 of the Colourpop No Filter concealers. One is in the shade Fair 02, I think, and this one is in the shade Fair Zero. The totally white one and then a very fair one. I actually think I'm gonna declutter this fair one. I'm just gonna go ahead and throw it away because it's old and this just isn't my favorite formula anymore. I used to really like it and I still like it, but it's not my favorite, especially since I've discovered a lot of others. I can't speak, I'm tripping over my words. I've discovered a lot of others that are very affordable and I prefer the formula of better. I will keep the white one, however, but I'm gonna put it in my special effects drawer because I use this more for costume looks, not so much day to day, if that makes sense. Next scent for Milk Makeup is the Milk Makeup Flex Concealer. It's in the shade Creme. I like this concealer. It's more of a thinner formula and it blends out really nice and soft and pretty. It leaves a beautiful finish on the under eyes. I feel like it's kind of medium coverage. I wouldn't call it full coverage personally. I feel like this shade is slightly too dark for me. It kind of matches my skin tone. I prefer one that's like a shade lighter just to give it a little bit of a highlight, a little bit of dimension. So this isn't my perfect shade, but I do still like this, and I actually really like this on days that I'm just wearing concealer and no foundation. This is perfect for that. So I will keep it for those days. This next one is the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Hydrate. I think this is my second one. Could be wrong, it could just be my first. I love this, it's so good. I like this more than the regular Conceal and Define concealer. I just find this one very hydrating, moisturizing. It has a beautiful finish on the under eyes, what are the other eyes? On the under eyes, and I just really enjoy it. I have this shade C1. I can't speak. Someone else needs to come over here and talk for me. Next is the Tarte Shape Tape in the shade Fair. I've repurchased this a few times, but I only do it when Ulta's having a special sale for Platinum members to get this for like $12. They'll have it every once in a while, and usually about that point is when I've run out of this. However, I haven't really reached for it that much since I repurchased it. This is mostly still full. I will keep this because once in a while I like to reach for this concealer. I don't know why, sometimes I just get that mindset to use it. This last one is the Colourpop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Concealer, and mine is in the shade Fair 10N. I love this concealer, it's what I have on my under eyes today. I find it to blend out really nicely, the finish is really beautiful. I think I like the Juvia's Place Concealer #1, the Makeup Revolution 2nd place, and the Colourpop in 3rd place. I like them all a lot. They have a good finish, blend nicely. I'm content. Alright, so we started with 8 concealers and we're ending with 7. We got rid of 1. Cool. Now for powders, we have 4, kind of 5, but really it's 4. This first one I have, it's in a Cover FX container, but it's old RCMA powder. I prefer the RCMA powder mostly for my special effects looks now when I do costumey looks. It's not my favorite for day-to-day anymore. I used it for years. I've gone through a few tubes of them. It's just not my favorite anymore. It's a little too drying for me and a little too white. It just doesn't work for my skin as perfectly anymore. I will keep this but put it in my special effects area. I'm not really going to reach for it on the day-to-day. Probably ever again. This next one is the Lunatic Cosmetics Mystifying Mattifying Powder. I did like this a lot. I don't really find myself reaching for it anymore now that I've discovered my new favorite setting powder. However, I'm really close to finishing this, so I kind of want to bust this out and use it just for the sake of using it until it's gone, but I don't really see myself buying this once it's used. They did send this to me in PR. I'm grateful for it. Obviously, I've gotten great use out of it, but I don't think I'm really going to need to repurchase it, if you get it. Next is my favorite setting powder of all time. This was sent to me from Milk Makeup. This is the Milk Makeup Blur and Set Powder. It just melts into my skin so beautifully. I don't know, it doesn't look powdery. I feel like it makes the finish of my foundation look beautiful. It keeps all of my lines at bay. It doesn't break up on my nose. Something about this powder is so magical. I've been using this solid for about 3 to 4 months now, and I'm getting close to the bottom, but there's still a good amount left in there, and I've already bought a backup during the Sephora sale because I knew 100% I was going to want another once I was out of this, so this is why I said 4 kind of 5 powders. So yeah, love that powder with my whole heart. And the last powder I have here is the Colourpop No Filter Setting Powder. This is probably my 2nd or 3rd. I bought another one of these before I really tried out this one, so it's kind of been sitting in my drawer because I love the Milk one so much more. However, if I am in a point where I don't have the Milk one for whatever reason, like I run out or something, this one's a good backup because I like it and it's cheap. I don't like it nearly as much, but I do like it, so I will keep it around in case I need it. Alright, well, we started with 4, we're ending with 4, so that's that, but that's not very bad. And last are setting sprays. We just have 4 of these. The one that I'm currently using is the Colourpop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Acid Setting Mist. I love it. I love the sprayer on it. It's super satisfying, melts into my skin nicely. It smells delicious. I love this. I got sent this in PR from them, and I've been enjoying it the last week or two, and I'm gonna just continue using it until it's gone probably, because I'm very content with it. Next is one of the Apocalyptic Beauty setting mists. This is in the the scent Pumpkin Spice. This one also has a pretty good sprayer. It seems a little more aggressive compared to that Colourpop one, but the mist itself is really, really nice. Love the scents that they do. The setting spray for the Recently Deceased is my favorite one from them, but this one is great as well. I also used a different one, Candy Corn. That one was also nice. I do have a discount code with Apocalyptic Beauty. It's beautbean if you want to save 15%. I don't make money, I just get store credit, and I've gone through, I think, 3 of these setting sprays. They are my favorites. Between that and this Colourpop one, it's hard to pick. Next is this random one called Lovebird, Life's a Beach. I don't remember getting this one. Like, I don't know where this came from. Maybe BoxyCharm. I couldn't tell you, but I don't remember this, so I'm gonna try to give this one to a friend because I do think I used it, I just don't know anything about it. And last, I have this Pixie Makeup Fixing Mist with rosewater and green tea. I'm gonna keep this just because there will come a day when I'm out of the Colourpop one and out of this Apocalyptic Beauty one, and I will want another spray. And I do like the Pixie spray, so this will just be my backup to my backups, and I already have it. So, we started with 4, and now we have 3. I'm going to do some calculations and figure out what we have left now. All right, well, we started out with 45 products total, and now we have 24. So I got rid of 21 things. That is fantastic. I feel a lot better about this. I have a good variety where I can still switch it up, but I don't have an overabundance of things I was not using. Mostly those primers. The primers was ridiculous. Primers were ridiculous. The primers were ridiculous. Grammar. Yeah, so this is where we're at. What'd you guys think? Do you think I did a good job? I think I did good. Got rid of like half of them, so that's great. I'm just gonna work on using this stuff up now. I'm really gonna focus on switching up which foundation I'm using. Need to try to really finish this one up because it's almost gone, and that would be very satisfying. All right, so that was the end of this declutter. The next ones that I'm doing are my loose shadows / loose pigments, and I need to do my single shadows. I didn't even think about that one, which I don't have an overabundance, but I do have some, and I really need to go through and get rid of some. Like, I have a lot of old Makeup Geek ones that I'm probably never gonna touch again. So those are the last 2 that will be coming up. If you haven't checked out my other declutters and you're curious, there's a makeup collection and declutter playlist on my channel. And yeah, if you made it to the end of this foundation, or really complexion declutter, leave me like just an emoji, like a face emoji, because it's your face that we decluttered today. And if you enjoyed it, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you're not already, please hop over to my Instagram. It's beautbean. Follow me there. I post every single day. And don't forget to subscribe. I'm posting most days here as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Okay, bye.